FD. The beat goes on. Give it up for Frank Failla.
Thank you. Wow. What a good-looking crowd. Well, not you, sir, but everybody else. Anyway, I am Frank Failla, and I am a retired NYPD sergeant, and I can tell you, thank you. Thank you, appreciate that very much. And I can tell you that when I worked every night, the people of New York City slept securely, knowing that I was on the day shift. I do remember my first call as a rookie police officer. I got a call for people loitering on the corner, yeah? So I go marching up to the corner, I said, folks, you gotta get off the corner. And they're looking at me. I said, you have to move. And they won't move. With that, the patrol car pulls up. Salty old cop comes marching up to me, says, you having a problem here, kid? I said, yeah, I can't get these people off the corner. He said, because it's a bus stop. One of the best days of my career, though, was when I got to deliver a baby. And I remember this very clearly. I get to the house, the woman's screaming, the baby's coming, and I look, and the baby was coming. But it was breech. So I had to stick my hand in there, and she's pushing, and I'm pulling, twisting and turning. Baby comes out, we send her off to the hospital. About 2 weeks later, she walks into the precinct. I said, are you here to thank me? She said, no, I found your watch. So I am married, I do have 2 children, and I can tell you, if you would like to punish your children, do not take away their iPad. Take away the charger. And then you watch the blood drain from their faces. They're trying to conserve the battery. You should see the look on my wife's face when I take away her batteries. So my daughter, she's 10, and I had to run an errand the other day, and she said, Daddy, can I just stay home and rent a movie? I said, of course you can. So I come home, and I said, what did you rent? She said, Daddy, I rented 50 Shades of Grey. I said, but don't worry, I didn't like it. The book was so much better. And I have a 16-year-old son, and he's a good kid. It's just every once in a while I gotta borrow some money from him. And I don't mind borrowing money from him, because then he hounds me to pay him back. He's like a little leg breaker. Yeah, it's ridiculous amount of points he charges. And then he's got the nerve to ask for new clothes. I said, are you kidding me, Nick? When I was your age, all I got were hand-me-downs. And my sister's pants never quite fit right. And then he wants to go to college. I said, yeah, you can go to college. You can go to UNC, university next to the Coliseum. So he's excited, though. He just got his learner's permit, and I said, come on, Nick, let's go. We'll get in the car. We're driving down the street, the car hits a curb, through some bushes, knocks over a fence. I'm so glad he wasn't driving. So, my wife and I just celebrated 10 happy years. Oh, thank you, thank you. We've been married for 20. And she is here tonight, and I do appreciate her support. It's so good to see her laughing outside the bedroom. So, I met her when I was a cop. She was working the corner. Yeah, she was selling pretzels, but nonetheless, it was on the corner. So, and she's a very good person, though. She will do anything for anybody. I mean, the other day I came home, and there she was, sitting on the floor, kneeling on the floor. She got another man's penis in her hand. She said, don't worry, don't, it's not what you think. I'm just holding it for a friend. Oh, yeah, she's a good person. Oh, by the way, I was in Texas last week. Okay, just came back from Texas. I was very disappointed because I get to Texas, and I'm in my hotel room, and I stood in front of the mirror naked, and sadly, not everything's bigger in Texas. So, my wife and I just bought a new bed. $7,000 for a sleep number bed, and I still can't get a 69. She wasn't feeling well this morning, and I said, well, I wanted to have sex with her, and she wasn't feeling well. And I said, you know, sex is the best medicine. She said, you are absolutely right. The problem is I need long-lasting, and you're fast-acting. She might be onto something, because now that I'm getting a little older, I find my body doesn't quite react the way it used to. I need some help from the little blue pills. Aleve. I grew up in a very traditional Italian household. My mother never left the house. She was home all the time, except on Saturdays. She had to go to confession. And I said, what is my mother doing all week long that she's got to go to confession? Yeah, turned out she was using jarred sauce. You know, we were flying back from Texas. I was on the plane, and I said to the woman next to me, I said, my buddy was in front, I was in the back, and I said to the woman next to me, I said, I very much hate to fly. So my buddy turns around and says to the woman, he says, yeah, sometimes he screams and cries. She says, that's okay, my husband's afraid to fly too. I said, well, I'm not his husband, but thank you for finding me the more masculine of the two. Yeah, it was fun, very fun. So my wife and I were at a wedding 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And she said to me, oh, look, I think that's my gynecologist. So I go over and tap him on the shoulder. I said, how you doing, sir? I understand you've also seen my wife's vagina? You're her doctor? The guy looks at me and says, yes, I have, but you know I'm your mailman. You know, talking about flying, I tell you a couple of things that I really get irritated by. Like when people clap when a plane lands, it's supposed to land. It's not a magic trick. Or when people clap at the end of a movie, makes no sense. When my wife claps every time I leave the house. And I really hate it when she claps after sex, because I can hear her when I'm downstairs watching television. One time she clapped after we had sex, and I wasn't sure it was because I was finished or if I did a good job. And then she stood up. I thought I was getting a standing ovation. She walked out. She's very safety conscious. Wanted to have a lot of sex in our house, or at least attempted sex anyway. I said, I'd like to have sex. She goes, well, what is your user ID? I said, I don't know. Big Frank? She said, I'm sorry, another member already has that name. Then she asked for my password. I said, my penis? She said, I'm sorry, that password's not long enough. So we're trying to spice things up a little bit, so we suggested some role play. I said, you go to the bar, I'll act like I don't know you. So she's at the bar, I go over there and walk up to her, and I said, how you doing? Like to get out of here? She said, I'm sorry, I'm a married woman, and she walked away. So she's a court reporter, and she runs our bedroom like it's a courtroom. Yeah, whenever we're gonna have sex, she tells me, all rise. Enter Exhibit A into evidence. When she's finished, she tells me court is adjourned. So I decided I was gonna initiate sex. So I stood at the end of the bed naked. I said, honey, court is in session. I'm going to enter into evidence exhibits D-I-C-K. She sits up, she looks at me, and she says, you know I don't work small claims court. Thank you, everybody.